That's him though.
I feel like we were going.
You can't. You can't take,
Yeah.
you can't take that away.
I stand. I stand. Oh, okay. He's signing. Good deal.
Can't have my IP position.
Close enough. Okay, welcome to the regular meeting, Guadalupe City Council, May 27th, 2025. May we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Costa Junior,
Here.
Councilmember Fernez. Here. Councilmember Villegas. Here. Councilmember Hernandez. Here. Mayor Julian.
Here, we have a quorum. Will you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you. The next item is a moment of thanks, appreciation, or condolences.
I would like to make one.
Please.
I'd like to recognize and appreciate our mayor for his birthday. And I'm not sure how to handle this, but there's cake and coffee in the back, and we have Norma and Carlos, and I won't mention your age.
Are we gonna
Yeah.
sing?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Ready? A one, two, three. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mayor. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you.
And I can say it.
Thank you. Sylvia will cut it up,
Yep.
right, Joy? Okay. And at your leisure, go ahead and go for it. So, yeah, especially the all four of them. So, okay. All right. Thank you for that. Anybody else in the condolences or that my birthday's not a condolence, so it's okay. Okay. All right, hearing and seeing no hands, agenda review. Anybody wish to change the order of business as presented?
Can remove closed session.
No. We want to stay over.
We were waiting for some information.
Okay,
So
so
yeah,
the closed session is eliminated.
no. Slow it down a little bit. Sorry.
Okay. Next item is ceremonial calendar, and I'll go ahead and read it. And it's a proclamation of Asian American and Native American, Hawaiian, Pacific Islander, and Heritage Month of May 2025. Whereas this May, during the Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we recognize the history and achievements of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders across our nation. And whereas in the midst of difficult year of pain and fear, we reflect on a tradition of leadership, resilience, and courage shown by AANHPI communities and recommit to the struggle for AANHPI equity. And whereas Asian Americans and Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders make our nation more vibrant through diversity of cultures, languages, and religions. And whereas there is no single story of an AANHPI experience, but rather a diversity of contributions that enrich America's culture and society to strengthen the United States' role as a global leader. And whereas the American story, as we know it, would be impossible without the strength, contributions, and legacies of AANHPI, who have helped build and unite this country in each successive generation. Whereas from laying railroad tracks, tilling fields, and starting businesses to caring for our loved ones and honoring and honorably serving our nation in uniform, AANHPI communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States. And whereas the city of Guadalupe also celebrates and honors the invaluable contributions of Asian American, Native, Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders heritage communities have made our nation's culture and its arts, law, science, technology, sports, public service, including the courageous AANHPI who have served on the front lines during the COVID-19 panic as healthcare providers, first responders, teachers, and other essential workers. Whereas the city of Guadalupe affirms that Asian Americans, Native Americans, and Pacific Islanders make our nation strong. Now therefore be it resolved by the virtue and authority of me as a mayor and on behalf of the city of council of the city of Guadalupe, I do here proclaim May 2025 as Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So thank you for all. Okay. You know, it's interesting this past, when was it? Yesterday. Harry Masatani and I forgot Mr. Mayanaga's first name. Hugh Mayanaga. They're both veterans, and they were both at the memorial celebration this past weekend. And Mayanaga actually he joined I think Army while he was in the intern camp.
Wow.
So he joined the Army. And Harry Masatani, as we know, their contributions to our community also was in the service. And his good friend who since passed, Bendo Gracio, who passed about 2-3 years ago, was his guard while Harry was in the intern camp, and they became best friends. And so the Filipinos, the Mexicans, the Asian Americans really built this community in our nation. So respect to all of those. Okay, next item is community participation forum. I don't have any request to speak. Is there anybody in the audience that requests to speak? No?
I'd like to introduce somebody.
Sure. Oh, yeah,
Um,
okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm proud to recognize, and it's an honor to let you know that we have a new recreation services manager, Arnulfo Navarro III, and just want to give him a warm welcome.
All right.
And if you want to say a few words, you can.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
I'll keep it brief, but I just want to say the honor is all mine. Growing up in this community, having an opportunity like this, it's something really special for me, and I just want to do right by my community. Thank you all.
Thank you and welcome again. Well, you've been here before, so. Sure. Go ahead. Okay.
Will we be having the regularly scheduled Parks and Rec meeting the first Tuesday in June?
Sure, why not? Yeah,
Great,
let's
I'll
do
see you there.
it.
Good.
Agenda will go out this week.
All right, item 7, consent calendar. These items are presented as a single agenda item. Is there any council person that wishes to pull an item out for detailed discussion? Has there been a request by the public to pull any of these items for future or further discussion? Seeing nothing of that respect, so is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the full consent calendar.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
By the way, I forgot to thank my wife for putting the cake, providing the cake. And she said to bring some home, so don't eat it all. Okay. Okay. Next item, management report, city administrator
To keep
information.
it
only.
short, we met today on and cut about 700,000 out of the budget to balance it. And to have a balanced budget, and that'll be as management team. Recommendation will come to the council at the next city council meeting for the first review of the budget.
Okay. That's it. Any questions of Todd?
Todd, I don't have the flyer with me, but maybe sharing about the SP CAG workshop. Is that tomorrow?
It's Thursday.
Yeah, yeah, Thursday. I can email it to you.
I think, is David, are
Yeah.
you gonna be here, David? Are you?
That's Thursday.
Okay.
It's the 29th. Whatever. day that
Whatever.
falls on. I
Today's
think it's
27th,
Friday.
28th, 29th.
Thursday.
Oh,
Thursday,
okay,
yes.
Thursday, yeah.
From 4 to
4 to
4 to
7:30
7.
Okay.
in the auditorium.
In the auditorium. You think it's gonna be that big or? Hopefully.
When I asked about it, she gave several references, but I didn't know if this was gonna be big enough, this setting here.
Okay.
So we just went with auditorium.
Okay,
Just in
cool.
case.
And it is on the website too, just a FYI.
All right,
Yeah.
good. Okay, next item, Director of Public Safety, Chief Cash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, staff, and community. Just a quick follow-up. We attended the Guadalupe Immigrant Support Team. The mayor and I were there and 3 school officials. So
Mhm.
we had a quorum. Unfortunately, community didn't really show. And then on Saturday, we had the Cycle Mania. Well, that's just some of the drivers around town. But it went very well, and councilperson Hernandez did beat me in the bicycle race.
She had
but-
electric one though. What do you?
No, she was pedaling. It was a great
was good.
turnout. There was a lot of people, a lot of vendors. And they made a comment that they felt that was one of the best that they had as far as turnout and everything. So we did a good debrief after. So if they want to do it again. So we're just planning on making sure it's safe again, as it did. So the only thing was just the little kids. That part really wasn't 100% thought out because they got the little wheels. And so trying to keep everybody up, but it went very well. And then Monday, the mayor and I were at the memorial at the cemetery, which was a great event. And it's something they made a point of, and I think the mayor will probably speak to it also, is we don't have a lot of youth that really show. There was very few. And, that's something that we need to continue. And especially like with our veterans and so forth, we have such a rich history here with our veterans. And I think it's a lot of our young people don't really know that or understand that. And so I think that's something that we have to look at to kind of do some kind of outreach for the future. And hopefully with my new partner over here, with Park and Rec, we're going to be working side by side with a lot of different events. The cycle, just gave him one right now of some kind of run that we got. So, his first day, he was in my office and we were working on a project Friday for Saturday. So this is nice having him on board. And last but not least, on the vacant building projects, we have 11 buildings that we sent paperwork to, and their compliance date is June 9th. And if they're not in compliance by then we'll start to send citations. So hopefully we'll start getting compliance on some of the buildings, but we have not received any information back from any of the building owners at this time.
Nothing, yeah.
Not a single word.
Okay.
Could I make a special shout out to Isaiah Rosas, who was a
Of
big
course,
part
that's
of,
what, yeah.
and Cynthia Pan for being a part of organizing a lot of the vendors and programming and stuff like that too.
It was pretty impressive with all
Yeah.
the vendors that were
Yeah.
there, so.
It was kind of a last minute in a month's time to pull that all together. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. Thanks.
I'd like to echo, shout out to Isaiah with less than 3 weeks. I think it was dozens of vendors, lots of community members, live music. I didn't know that
Good, yeah, yeah.
somebody's singing out there. The mission of Cyclemania is to nudge people to get out into the streets, cycle more, promote healthier lifestyles. My oldest is an avid rider, so he knows what to do when he's out in the community, how to stop. And while this was a great community, it did kind of feel like a procession. And so I'm hoping that next year it won't be more like a procession. Terrence from BC Centro, he has previously led lots of Cyclemania events. I think this might have been like my fourth or fifth event that I've attended. I previously attended with the Santa Maria Police Department and it was fantastic. Unfortunately, my son broke his arm on that one, but they promoted safe and responsible cycling. For this one, I know that we were kind of just yelled at to go through the stop signs and not really promoting safe cycling. And I think that's really important for me to promote safe cycling because I did see some children there that this was their first time out in the community. They didn't know what a stop sign was. They didn't know how to move over to the right. And so these events are really to promote safe cycling. But just want to give a shout out to Isaiah, Terrence, and everybody involved in the event.
Okay, thank you. No, it was a good event. Regarding the memorial, I think Deborah, she sang the national anthem. And I was going to sing it, but they said, no, there's somebody better out here than you. Very impressive. Very impressive. So I think your name is going to be out there for any event that needs to have some recognition in terms of national and other things. So thank you for being there. Okay. Janice, did you have a hand up?
It doesn't have to do with this, so I wanted to wait. It's about the PO box. I just want to make an announcement so that it's aware. So wherever I can fit that in, I just need to.
Can I do that now?
Sure.
Such a thesis.
All right. Just so you know that if any mail is coming to 918 Obispo, it needs to be sent to PO Box 908. Mail is not coming here, and if it doesn't have the PO box, it's getting sent back. So please change addresses. We'll have it on the website. I'm creating another letter. We did it with email in September when we were aware of it. We've already contacted our vendors, but there are still some checks. We've contacted the state about checks that are getting returned, things like that. So this is one of those things that just have to happen. I know that there's a lot of online bill pay or direct bill pay from your bank. It has to have the PO box that needs to be changed to the 908. Otherwise, it will get sent back.
And that's 908. Okay.
Yep, PO box 908.
Let's see. Go ahead.
Janice, I saw on my bill pay that you can now automatically pay your water bill, which you previously can. I thought that was awesome. So kudos to whoever did that.
Any other announcements under Director of Public Safeties? Okay, and next item is any questions of Chief? Next item is Human Resources Manager, Sylvia.
Going the wrong way here. Good evening, Mayor. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Good evening,
Thank you.
council and staff and our audience member. Quick update. Public safety, we have filled both of the full-time positions. The official start dates, one will be starting pretty quickly, I would say in the next week or so, and then the other will be pending a postgraduate from the academy. The associate planner position has been filled, and with the selected candidate should be starting hopefully on Monday, if everything goes well. Public Works, we did have a new hire for the water maintenance worker 1. The employee started last Monday. And SEIU negotiations, we did have that on closed session, but that will be extended to the next meeting. We do have one injury that was reported last month. The employee did seek medical treatment and is on modified duty. No change in the 2 long-term workers' comp claims. And then lastly, we did have the department appreciation lunch on Cinco de Mayo, and we honored our entire maintenance crew. And we will continue to do that hopefully quarterly. And that's it for
Any questions,
HR.
Sylvia?
I have a quick question.
Please.
Sylvia, on the water maintenance worker one.
Yes,
I'm assuming that's an add to staff as opposed to
yes,
replacement.
it is.
So it's two maintenance workers.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, next item, public hearing, final adoption of 2023 to 2031 housing element and adoption of final initial study negative declaration. Sir, Larry.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. This will be your last hearing on approval of the housing element, and it will also be your shortest hearing. So in conclusion, are there any questions? Told you, Gene. Your binder contains a short staff report with recommendations. Attached is the clean version of the housing element, which is now 215 pages long. The last one was 110, so the state stuck it to us and we had to accept it. So anyway, we've got a nice long document now. We also have the final initial study negative declaration, and then two resolutions, one for the ND and one for the final housing element. Finally, we attached the HCD letter dated March 7th, indicating that we have met the statutory requirements. So this has been a long process, similar to when we prepared the general plan update, and there's no way this document could have been completed without the knowledge and experience of Professor Nworsu. He just was instrumental in getting through this process. We were challenged with 6 separate rounds of review by a variety of staff. It was like, once one group was done beating us up, they would turn us over to another group and they would start and review the document from the beginning. So that was a whole different process that we haven't had to do before. So we took each round seriously and worked hard to provide whatever the state had asked for. What we have as a result is a very detailed and complex document that can be used for the next 6 years. We got a late start on it, so that's why there's only 6 years left of it. But last time we only had 2 years. So we're doing much better this time. One more important fact is that now that we have updated the general plan and the housing element, along with providing the state's annual housing report, we're eligible to apply for a variety of state grants. So that puts us in a good position from that standpoint. So after reviewing any questions you may have and public input, if we have that, we have 5 actions that we're recommending to complete this project. And this does now conclude my presentation. So any questions?
All right. Any questions from the council? From the public? At 6:21, I'm going to open it up to public, conduct a public hearing. At 6:22, it'll be closed, public hearing. Now we're looking at two resolutions. Adopt resolution 2025-25. Is there a motion to adopt that resolution?
I'll motion to adopt resolution 2025-25.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Costa Junior,
Aye.
Councilmember Fernez,
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez,
Aye.
Mayor Julian.
Aye, all ayes. That resolution passes. And the next resolution is number 2025-26, approving the final version of the 2023-2031 housing element. I think we can go include that and direct staff to transmit the final housing element and resolution to HCD. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll motion to adopt resolution 2025-26.
And the rest of that?
And everything that's on there.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion here in the public? All those, we'll have roll call, please.
Councilmember Costa Junior,
Aye.
Councilmember Fernez,
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez, Mayor Julian.
Aye, all ayes. Larry, this, and I mentioned this before, if people wanted to find out information about Guadalupe, all they do is pull this out.
Yeah.
And you can really use this as a grant writing tool. for now and for the future. So thank the doctor and yourself for making this happen. Very professionally done. So
Thanks.
thank you. All right, next item, regular business, consolidation of Guadalupe Transit Bus Services and the Santa Maria Regional Transit. Mr. Trujillo.
My first time doing this, I didn't really know I had to read. I'm sorry.
You don't have to, you don't have to read. We can read, but you have a gentleman out here that
Okay,
can talk
yes.
about it? Put him on the
So
spot.
We have Mr. G from the city of Santa Maria. That is definitely more prepared for this than I am.
Okay, good.
You're fine.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Gamaliel Anguiano, but you're free to call me G, as all my friends and colleagues do. I am the transit manager for the city of Santa Maria. Other than that, introducing myself, the first thing I want to say is really commend city staff, both present and past, your contractor Smooth, for the wonderful job in providing public transit service to your community. As a transit practitioner, public transit plays a very vital role for many, from seniors to the youth, to those who are starting their careers or are still going to college. And as I talk to Smooth or Guadalupe Flyer riders, they all speak very positively of the wonderful benefits your city has been doing in providing public transit. So to be commended for sure. So before you, as noted in your staff report, is a recommendation though to probably graduate to the inevitable path of our two communities, and that's to coordinate in a coordinated consolidated transit system. Certainly the situation of the pandemics in the early 2020s challenged our entire industry. Everything from driver shortages to increased regulatory demands to, at the same time, a huge increase in folks seeking mobility options alternatively to now very cost prohibitive automobiles. And so that's kind of what's drawn our two groups together. We've danced around this idea for several years now. In fact, it does not originate with either of us. There was a 2016 study conducted by SB-CAG that suggested and alluded to this. But as we've been facing these challenges, it's only kind of brought this to a feverish pitch. That, in addition to such as your city is mine, we contract out. Your contract is about to expire. Now is a very opportune time to really look at this at a more deliberate focus, right? Be a little more intentional about it. After working with your staff and your contractor, Phil Seamus, and particularly with Smooth, we find that there are no reasons why this consolidation wouldn't be a success. As the city of Santa Maria, we already provide public transit service to other communities that are not Santa Maria. We are the providers for the unincorporated community of Orcutt, Tanglewood, service to Los Alamos and New Cuyama. So adding Guadalupe to the fold is well within our wheelhouse. And it probably makes just as much sense, if not more sense, than some of those other communities, as our communities are very much socially, economically intertwined. For Santa Maria employers, much of our workforce comes from Guadalupe. For Guadalupe residents, much of the commercial shopping and educational medical opportunities are just down the road, right? So it makes sense for us to coordinate our services. The recommendation is for this to become effective July 1st. There's a cooperative agreement, part of the staff report, that outlines how we will conduct business. This would not be the end of our relationship. In fact, it's probably only the beginning for me and your public works director to collaborate even more closely on other things. And then as our systems evolve, other presentations and recommendations to the city council before any decisions are being made.
Okay.
With that, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? You know, I looked up the, what's it called? RATP Develop. That's a pretty strong organization that is affiliated with Santa Maria. And then I was trying to figure out where, you know, it's from Paris, but it's a, you know, they have their network out almost nationwide, I think, in terms of transportation. So
Correct. They're an international company. They have
Right.
RATP Dev US. Many transit providers, First Transit is headquartered in the UK, but they have an American branch.
Right.
There are still local providers like Smooth, you know,
Right,
certainly. Those are wonderful organizations and we look to them and
sure.
welcome them to bid on our contracts.
Yeah.
RATP Dev has been a great partner for us so far, and they're excited to be your provider as well.
Good, good. Any questions of anybody out there? And these gentlemen?
I think this is a great opportunity. I follow heavy the Santa Maria transportation, you guys' new EV buses, your smart buses, and I think it's a great opportunity for the residents. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adopt resolution 25-27?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-27.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Costa Junior,
Aye.
Councilmember Fernez,
Aye.
Councilmember Villegas,
Aye.
Councilmember Hernandez, Mayor Julian.
Aye, all ayes. It's a great step. So thank you all for working on it, David, and the city of Santa Maria. So thank you. All right, item 13, memorandum of understanding between the city of Guadalupe and the Guadalupe Community Action Coalition regarding fiscal sponsorship for the Royal Theater Project Capital Campaign. Phil.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also, Tom Brandenberry is on the Zoom. If there's any questions that I can't answer. Tom and I worked on this memorandum together. I drafted it. He reviewed it, made some excellent comments, and then I finalized it based on those comments. This MOU rises out of two meetings that the council had earlier this year. The first one was the decision to approve the creation of a capital campaign committee. And the second was the appointment of those members to the committee, as well as authorizing staff to make a formal request to the the Guadalupe Community Action Coalition, or GCAC, the nonprofit corporation that was actually formed by the city, basically to provide assistance in an organization that can apply for grants that the city could not, and also just assist the city in various projects. And one of those projects, of course, one of the main reasons underlying the creation of that nonprofit was the Royal Theater. Initially, it was created because of the need for nonprofit to assist with historic tax credits or new market tax credits, or both. But when the corporation was actually formed, it was designed to, or was intended to be wider in scope of its mission. And when the capital campaign concept came up, staff realized that, like the Leroy Park capital campaign, it would be a good idea to have an outside corporation or entity able to accept financial donations as part of the capital campaign for a couple of reasons. One, staff already has enough going on and to take that responsibility on when it's not in its normal wheelhouse. And second, there are some people that would be hesitant to maybe make donations directly to city government for whatever reason. So they still can, of course. There's no reason why we can't accept donations if people want to make a donation to the city. But it just seems to make good sense to have a nonprofit organization out there as well that can accept the donations on behalf of the city. So I explained a little bit more detail in the staff report for anyone on the council or the board that, the public that was interested. Moving ahead, the actual agreement. The agreement will basically stay in effect once it's approved by both parties until the earlier of the conclusion of the capital campaign, or if one party terminates it. It can be terminated without cause upon 30 days notice. City's responsibilities are probably a little bit less than GCAC's. We will provide the nonprofit with basically information about the city's capital campaign as it's developed by the city and the campaign committee, and approved by the council to be put on the GCAC website. And we will also provide them with information about processes and procedures for accepting and transferring donations to the city for the benefit of the project, and similar information. City
This is something that the council does not have to authorize, but then put it in the MOU that the city would authorize the GCAC to use the city logo on its website for this purpose. We thought that might, help. And on GCAC side, the city, they will provide the city's approved information concerning the Royal Theater project and the campaign on its website, accept donations, and they'll be able to accept both online and hard copy like checks. As I mentioned in the staff report there, this was a question that Councilmember Furness had raised early. Would they be able to accept in-kind donations? And at first, the thought was, sure, why not? Well, when staff looked into that, there's a few more steps other than just accepting it. There has to be an appraisal. There would be logistics, there'd be added expenses, and that would require another kind of financial arrangement to cover those costs. So it just seemed that we should keep this MOU as simple as possible, limit it to financial donations only. There's going to be enough work there for them to do as it is. They're going to have to keep a record of all the donations. There's going to be some FPPC requirements for certain donations. We want transparency, of course. They will be basically, in exchange for the services they provide, they will be allowed to monthly take 3% off the gross proceeds of the donations they receive. But they'll have to keep books and records that would be subject to generally accepted accounting practices. And finally, each will have to carry their own insurance and agree to indemnify the other, which is a standard legal provision in almost every contract. With that, I end my staff report and available for any questions. And so is Mr. Brandenberry. Hey, Tom, go ahead.
Oh.
You pointed up there.
Oh, there he is.
from the top,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't. Just a quick question on that 3% that's kept, that admin fee that GCAC will keep. Hypothetically, that'll build and build and build to a certain amount. What expenses would the GCAC use that for?
Well, they would obviously use that for their expenses incurred in doing this project. For instance, they don't have any staff at this point. I don't think that 3% fee will be enough, probably. I'm speculating. I'm not sure initially, at least, that there'll be enough to pay somebody from that. So it would probably be volunteers that are doing it. Well, also the fact that the director of, the city's finance director is also the treasurer of that organization by the articles or by the bylaws, that would probably not be an expense that it would have to incur for that. So
I can chime in a little bit.
I'm
So
sorry?
there's also just like, right now, we only have very minimal expenses like insurance and bank fees and a website
Yeah.
right now. So that's what that little 3%
yeah,
would
and there'll be
cover.
paper, supplies.
Yep.
All the usual stuff that an office would need to have, but they are minimal. If that, I guess I didn't fully understand what your question was, but
That's fine.
yeah.
Got it.
Can you, who are the members? Who are the board members? It's for people that don't understand. Okay, yeah, it's, well, the way the corporation was set up, would, the city wanted to have some control over it, but not legally have control over it. We had an attorney sign off on that. That was an area, and I also think it's perfectly fine. So in full disclosure, some people may think it's kind of strange to have the city administrator, Todd, as the president and the finance director as the treasurer. But there are 3 other non-city people on the board, and there's space in there's bylaws provide that up to 2 more can be authorized by the council. And there is some interest apparently in adding 2 more, so they would be up to 7, but that's another day. In the meantime, there's Michael Jimenez. He's a resident. I forgot his, he's in education. Right. Recreate, yeah. That's right. He's on the program. Yeah. He's on the Recreation Parks Board. Yeah. And then Dr. Handel, the school district or the school, and
Garrett Mansura, who
Mhm.
is in the GBA.
Right.
So those are the members, and like I said, there'd probably be a couple more coming on board at some point.
Notice the address is 4545 10th Street.
Yes.
Okay. Are you set up
Yeah.
there, or are you going to set up anything, or do you
No,
need
just
to?
the,
Just the
the
mail
mailbox.
address, the
Mhm.
mailbox, okay. Any questions? Comments?
The only, if there's none, I would just say that the next step would be to submit it to the GCAC board. If they're good with it, then this would be a done deal, but they may have some changes, because we haven't discussed it, or that hasn't been discussed with them. We were in a hurry to get this process going, and so what the plan was to take it to them first and then bring it to you, but it just made more sense to get you guys to sign off on it, and then hopefully they'll just approve it as it is.
So we need a motion to that effect, signing off on our end, the MOU. So is there a motion?
I have a quick comment.
Okay.
Moving forward, is there any way that maybe we could just get some updates from the GCAC? Because I don't think previously we have had anything.
Well, technically, they're not required to give you any updates, but on this MOU, they will have to give you updates, and I believe it'll be on a monthly basis. I forgot what the MOU said, actually. I think it says it in there somewhere. That won't necessarily be in-person monthly updates. It'll probably just
just
like
on our
a
agenda.
consent agenda item. But I'm sure the plan will be to have at least a semi-annual or annual report on the status of what's going on in person. But again, their role is very limited. They're just taking the money and pausing it. They'll be reporting the numbers monthly.
Okay. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU.
Is there a second?
Oh, second.
Any discussion?
The next GCAC meeting is June 4th, and they'll look at it then.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Item 14, city vacancies report pursuant to Bill AB 2561. Sylvia.
Hello again, everyone. I'm going to do my best to summarize this report, and Philip, please chime in if you feel necessary. AB 2561 went into effect this year, as we discovered about 3 weeks ago, which requires all public agencies to annually report on our staffing vacancies, recruitment, retention efforts, and any challenges or barriers that we have. If one of the bargaining units has over 20% vacancies, we have to provide additional information and have present during a public hearing, and also provide the unions with an opportunity to present any of their concerns as well. Fortunately, the city has no vacancies at this moment across the 3 units. Our average hiring time over the past year was approximately 45 days. Our efforts for recruitment and retention. In 2024, the city filled 11 positions. And this year to date, we have added 6 additional recruitments. Some of our retention efforts, we do offer competitive and sustainable compensation that I believe aligns with the city's budget. We do invest in our staff training. We do have alternative work schedules where it is feasible. We offer longevity pay, staff engagement, and we're doing our best to increase some of the recognition initiatives going forward. Some of the barriers to hiring, well, there is no procedural barriers, I believe. I think most notably that the labor market has changed, I believe, post-pandemic. So it's presented its own challenges, and we just kind of have to work through that. Our processes will be reviewed going forward to make sure that we're compliant. And if we see any concerns. All of our units were notified and given the opportunity to present if they chose to, although we did not have any vacancies over 20% that would trigger this additional reporting.
I just want to clarify one thing. Sylvia is correct that there are certain things, certain information that would be required to be on the report if it was requested. But they would have also, just in case it wasn't clear, they also have the right to just be here today, even if those additional requirements are not met. Like the fact that there's no vacancies with it, doesn't matter. They could still make a presentation. And I do note that there was a very nice, actually, I thought a very nice letter that speaks well of Sylvia's performance as the HR manager. So not that it was bad before, but but it's anyway, that I just want to say that was the only response we got, that they were notified so they could make a presentation if they wanted to tonight.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Thank you, Sylvia. All right, where are we? Future agenda items? Future agenda items.
Yeah, there's no action. It just
Okay.
double check to make sure no one, it's supposed to be a public hearing, so make sure no one wanted to say anything out there. Okay.
I'm really excited about AB 2561, just to give some more transparency and about our job. So I was really excited about that. I wasn't sure we were going to have a recreation manager, so I thought maybe we're going to get some information on that. But super excited to welcome our new full in.
And I will say it was my fault that we only found out about this 3 weeks ago. This one slipped by and I accidentally discovered it and I'm like, oh, I better let staff know because
You heard about this. We wanted to hire all these people.
yeah.
I heard the hearing for the Santa Maria City Council and I was like, ooh, it's going to come to us.
Yeah, sorry, I found it kind of by accident, but I was glad I found it because we're supposed to do it before the budget is adopted or in connection with the budget. So
Okay.
all's well that ends well.
So it's his fault.
Yeah.
Okay, future agenda items. Anybody want to add to our list there?
I don't want to add, I just want a clarification
It's okay.
on, this is something that's been talked about before, the joint meeting with Recreation Commission. When it was brought up again last council meeting, I think you, Mayor, at nix the joint meeting as opposed to having this as an item.
Exactly. Having set aside, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes,
Right,
whatever. to
exactly.
Have them participate here
Right.
as
okay.
opposed to having. us
Like
set a
you,
special
like you would have a successor meeting, you close out the regular and open it. That's not what you wanted.
No, we just have
Okay.
them.
Exactly.
Just have it
Just an
open.
item.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
an item, and then let people know that we're gonna discuss everything that we're gonna discuss. So let them ask us questions and vice versa.
We would
So,
still put it on as a joint meeting of this board or this
Right.
meeting.
Right.
We would technically adjourn to a special meeting joint during, I know what you mean,
But we
but
just have this.
it'll just be a description on the agenda, but it'll be on the same date as a regular council.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait, can I get further clarification?
Sure.
Say it again, Philip?
Okay, well, I was trying to gloss over it, but it will have to be a special meeting of the Rec and Parks and the city
Because
council
you'll have
joint
a-
meeting,
you'll have
because
a-
You have a form.
because
You have
both
a
boards
quorum,
will be
yeah.
here in person and it has to be noticed under the Brown Act, but there's no problem if it's a special meeting holding it on the same date as the city council meeting. But we would have to adjourn to it and then adjourn back to the city council or do them one after the other or do it first. It doesn't really matter. It can be done anyway, but there is just a technicality.
The 6 start time.
It can be it can be within the 6 hour or before, or after. I mean, we have a lot of flexibility with a special meeting, including right in the middle of a regular city council meeting.
Can we address the vacancy on the board now that we have a Parks and Rec manager?
Not at this,
No, not, I mean, at that meeting.
yes,
Okay.
I think so. We can put that on the agenda.
Call for.
Yeah.
Replacement. Yeah. Okay. Announcements, council activity reports. I know you have something.
As
Which
mentioned,
is
I
good.
attended Psychomania this past Saturday with my family, had so much fun riding. I also attended the Hancock College Foundation board meeting. And I just want to share that we awarded $605,000 to 416 students. They recently many of them graduated Hancock this past week. There is 2,491 students who received an associate's degree, and almost 40% of the graduating class received the Hancock Promise And this class boasted the highest transfer rate to Cal Poly, which was 69%, which is really exciting to hear. And that's my end of the report.
Jean, anything? Amelia, anything?
I just wanted to mention, I also was at the Memorial Day event at the cemetery. Excuse me. I want to commend how you say, the revitalized American Legion in partnership with the Vietnam Veterans of America putting on this. And apparently it was pulled together fairly quickly. And also kudos to Albert Nunes, president of the cemetery board. It was extremely windy. It was crazy windy, absolutely crazy. Janice, I wanted to mention on the P.O. box, ironically, I got a call. Somebody had sent invitations or whatever to the council, and those envelopes bounced back. And so I was called and I said, 908, P.O. Box 908. And I said, that's been in effect for some time. And I said, apparently now it without knowing that.
Yeah, so in September is when we originally tried to make all of our vendors aware, but they were still accepting the address with the PO box or without it. So we weren't having any issues, and they had a hard stop, and it was just last month, at the end of last month.
So they got the information, and so it ties into what you're just saying.
Yep.
Anything? I had the SBCAG meeting last, the 15th of this month. Most of the money, there's been almost $1 billion coming in to Santa Barbara County from Measure A. And most of that money went to 101, completion of 101 at what they call the S curve. Almost 500 million went into that, like from Goleta all the way through to Montecito. Now the North County representative said that's enough going over there. So now it's going to be a 43% split in the future. Some big ticket items that's going to impact Santa Maria and us is the Highway 101 and 135, which is coming in from the bridge in Santa Maria. That's going to be there's a new bridge that's going to go in, a new pattern in terms of traffic because it's really congested in that area. So that's one of the key items. On Betaravia going 101 right at Betaravia to 101, the northbound lane, you know how there's double lanes coming in. That's going to be rerouted, fixed up to where there's going to be an easier path coming into Santa Maria, and actually moving east toward the mobile gas station. There's going to be some activity around there to make it a larger area for vehicles to travel. In the future, and it depends on Santa Maria's, the plan is to extend McCoy. You know, McCoy normally ends at, is it Bradley? Is it Bradley that it butts up into Bradley? Depending on the city's general plan, the city is thinking about having that go all the way through to the highway to relieve some of the pressure that we have that they have in Betaravia. Let's see, and then Memorial Day, as mentioned. Thanks, Deborah, for it was quite impressive. You're very talented, and people, I know that people know that you are. So thank you for being there. And also mentioned there was a flag. There was a 20 by 15 foot flag that we had the hoist with the wind. It was, it was okay. I mean, all of those that are probably the most recent individuals that were killed in action. We had 3 killed in action in Vietnam in '69. And all of those killed in action will have the streets named after them based on the new Pasadena South streets that will have their names after them. So I was helping Deke, and Deke Segovia is now the commander of Post 371, and he's also involved with Vietnam Veterans of America 982. And so what's happening in the veteran side of things, and the Vietnam Veterans Group, that's kind of winding down. And what the American Legion does, that encompasses all the different all the different venues. And so the American Legion is basically expanding in terms of the numbers. There's a lot of folks that left the area, left that post with the Santa Maria. Now they're coming back. And in agreement with the cemetery district, with the post 371, that the Veterans Day, the Memorial Day is going to really be a big ticket item. And again, I was helping them. We said, well, there's only going to be 25 people there, and there's close to 100 that were in attendance. And that we didn't get a lot of fanfare, and we don't need a lot of fanfare when it comes to us recognizing, local folks who lost their lives, and also the veterans, regardless of where they're from and whatever they served. So it was a good turnout. Interesting though, the color guard that was there for Guadalupe's, they actually they did go to Black Lake had an event too. And Deborah, did you go sing over there too?
Yes.
Okay. Well, see, with that color guard for Guadalupe actually had to leave as quickly as they could because they had to do the color guard operation there in Santa Maria. I mean, in Napomo. So kudos to those, the color guard, and then 90% of them from here in Guadalupe. So that's all I had.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I forgot to share, Assemblymember Greg Hart will be here May 30th on Friday. If anybody has any state-related questions, he will be in front of the Legion.
Okay.
And then June 12th at our next council meeting, it is McKinsey graduation. So an early congratulations to all the students graduating.
Cool. Okay, so no closed session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
No motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All right. Enjoy that cake and coffee back there, please.